Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Branding Bros, short for brothers. Today, it's just me and Josh. We don't have a special guest, but we are going to be talking about something near and dear to our hearts. We're very excited about it, so stay tuned and let's get right into it. Josh, do you want to intro us on the topic?
Yes, the topic is, and this is off the dome, the 4 critical areas of becoming a world-class strategist. When I say strategist, I thought about this before, so just to kind of set you up, because I did a thought leadership piece on this because it's been such a topic here at Big Red Jelly. These 4 categories of skills that you have to master can apply to any professional role, in my opinion. But we're going to speak specifically to those that are in marketing, branding, kind of the creative marketing sales arm. So if you're an entrepreneur, this is going to be critical. If you're an up-and-coming marketer, PR student, advertising person, creative graphic designer, these are the 4 skills that I think you have to master soon in order to be irreplaceable and in the face of what's happening with AI. So pay attention and rock and roll.
Yeah, that's great. The 4 areas. It used to be 3. We've recently added a 4th. Spoiler alert. The most important one is actually the newest. So first one is going to be project management skills. And, insert synonym for whatever, you want there. But it's being organized, it's taking notes, it's respecting due dates, it's getting, things done on time and on scope, etc. Project management, I don't think we need to go much into that, but we will later. Account management is number 2. Why don't you give us your explanation or...
Account management. Soft skills, intangibles. We'll talk about it.
Okay, great. Number 3, hard skills, technical skills, right? So whatever is your craft, whatever tool you're using, being proficient and efficient in using those tools. And number 4, the newest one?
Strategy, a word that gets thrown around a lot and very few people know what it really means. And so that was the newest one that we added, strategy. So to recap, if I can reorder them a little bit, because this is usually how when I'm talking to a new professional in the agency space, I go in this order. Technical skills first, project management skills second, account management skills third, strategy comes fourth, right? Mm-hmm. So let's dive into technical skills. Give us your description or definition of technical skills. And there's a few things here that especially new professionals in the creative field tend to get wrong with technical. But give us your definition of technical skills.
Yeah.
What are they and why are they important?
Yeah, for me, and you can add your spin on this, we're an agency. We work a lot in Adobe, so Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, WordPress, Wix, Shopify. If you're working at an agency or at our agency, being proficient in using those things, knowing how to achieve the outcome that you want. However, it does not mean knowing everything, right? It means knowing where to go to get that thing done. And especially, and you referenced this earlier, being in the world of AI, or the emerging world of AI, it's getting easier and easier to learn how to be proficient in these tools or learn how to get the outcome that you want, even not with that tool. Canva didn't exist 10 years ago, right? Or maybe it did, maybe it's getting old. And so, for everybody it was Adobe or die. But now Canva can do much of the asset creation, social media templates, pamphlet design, flyers, whatever, banner design that you used to have pretty deep knowledge in Adobe to do that before. Now, almost anybody can do it, right? So it doesn't mean, I have to be an expert, I have to be, dedicate my life to learning this software, but it just means getting done what needs to get done.
Yeah, technical skills and younger professionals or creatives will kind of mistake technical skills with technology skills. It's not the same thing, right? Totally different. When we say technical, can you do the thing? So you're a copywriter. Well, are you a good writer, right? Is your spelling good? Is it captivating copy? You're a graphic designer. Can you design? Do you know the fundamentals of design? You're a digital marketer. Can you do SEO? Can you set up a Google Ads campaign? On your resume, it's those bullet points that people usually add onto the right-hand side or at the bottom, which, by the way, is the first thing I look at, right? It's like, no offense, I'm going to offend a lot of people. I skip past the degree, I go to technical skills. And what's funny is if I don't see any technical skills there, it's hard to get into your profession if you lack technical skills. There's a common phrase out there, technical skills will get you in the door, through the door, they'll get you into that position. Soft skills will get you promoted. Okay, so it could be a good segue. I mentioned technical skills first because that is the foundation. You have to do the thing. A shout out to Mr. COO over here himself, okay? Because Zach, he knows the technical skills. Even as the CEO or COO at Big Red Jelly, he can do web design and web development. He can do graphic design. He can figure stuff out. And we've all had a boss before or a manager who is your leader and doesn't know how to do what you do. Have we had that situation? You know, you can think
They don't know how to work the register, you know?
Yeah, it's a meme, right? It's like you got the boomer, and I'm just offending all sorts of people at this point. You've got the boomer who doesn't know how to download a PDF and is paid 3 times as much as you, and so that's problematic. We do not create that sort of hierarchy here. Right? I take a page out of Elon Musk's book, which is, he kind of gets a little chagrined with, he calls it parachuting in from the top, these MBA students, right? They go to school, they go to their undergrad, they go to a graduate school, they get an MBA. They still haven't worked a legitimate career or built those technical skills. And then they just parachute into an organization to the top, and all of a sudden I'm a manager. All of a sudden I can lead salespeople and I don't know a CRM. All of a sudden I'm a marketing director and I don't know how to optimize my Google ads. It deteriorates trust. Your clients and customers will see right through it. And so the foundation is technical skills.
Yeah. So segue into soft skills then.
Segue into soft skills.
AKA account management. Okay. Go ahead, give us your definition of that. And then I'll
favorite.
I'll rebuke.
This is my, rebuke me. This is my favorite circle of the Venn. Soft skills are your ability to present. I think every professional out there, especially in the creative field, should learn sales 101. You should learn public speaking 101. The amount of interviews that I've done when we're hiring for a brand strategist, and I'm blown away by their portfolio. Amazing portfolio, beautiful designs. I hop on a video call and it's like I'm talking another language. You know, they can't walk me through how they design something and why it's important. I'm not convinced. We say it all the time here with our brand team. Well, every team. We say, look, designing a pretty logo is only half the battle. You've got to convince your client, and not convince per se, but you got to be able to talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. I'll say this all the time. I'll say, hey, Joshua, you design a logo. Give me the same logo. We'll present it to the same client. My client will like it more. I guarantee it. Just because I'm going to be able to talk about it a little bit better. It's not to butter my biscuits, but it's the inner salesman within me. I think everyone's got to learn that skill.
Yeah. I think it's even applicable to brands or small businesses or entrepreneurs out there right now as well. How you communicate your brand and your products and your service and the values is just as important as what your product actually is, or what your service actually is, or what your brand actually does for your clients. And so, yeah, like having really really awesome skills in whatever tool you're working in, whatever your product is, but not being able to communicate that value, delivery is everything. Yeah. Right. We just had this meeting internally with one of our brand strategists and talking about rolling out a brand. You could have the coolest brand you just did for a client, but if it gets rolled out or delivered or announced wrong, then it was kind of all for naught, right? Or if it's not implemented correctly. So account management is the implementation, it's the delivery, it's the communication of what you're doing with your hard skills. Right.
Yeah, and you can see why having good soft skills and account management skills, whether you think it's unfortunate or fortunate that that's usually the model by which you get promoted in an organization, it's just the truth. You've got a CEO, you've got executives, you've got a boss. They're not going to see all of the technical work that you do. The technical work will keep your job because you need to be able to get the results. So again, can you do the thing? But when you're in a meeting with your boss, and a client, and you come in with that confidence and that proactivity, and you've got great public speaking skills and you've got the energy, that's what's going to make them say, oh, wow, like this person's really got it, right? Mm-hmm. Or are you shy in the corner, reactive, maybe a little too pessimistic? It's just not going to work. Mm-hmm. So how do you practice that? Role play, repetitions, just like anything else. If you're a graphic designer, if you're a copywriter, do the thing, like do your technical work, but then present it to your peers. Record a Loom video, role play with someone on your team before you go and present it to your boss or the client. So.
Yeah. Something that we say a lot here is, if you want to come across as confident in your calls, it's all about preparation. Mm-hmm. So those role plays, those practicing, preparing your notes, that's all part of having good account management or good soft skills, which is a good segue. Note-taking skills. I too am a master of segues. Being organized is a huge part of being a good account manager, and having the right notes, knowing when things are due, etc. And that's all project management. The third ring of the Venn diagram. Especially in agency life, it's important to have good project management skills, right? Knowing what's on scope, knowing what the client paid for, knowing when they started, when it's due, all of that, right? Because we have to stay on budget and we have to make sure that our clients are happy. But whatever industry you work in, whoever's listening to this, think about what project management skills are for you. You might not have projects that you manage, but those skills are transferable, they're translatable to basically any industry, right? And so something we look for when we're hiring is, are you organized? Do you send me a well-formatted and clearly thought out and good note structure after our interview, right? We even ask for it nowadays. It's not even now, recently, our interviewees, we say, hey, can you send me a follow-up email? Like, we're doing the account management for you. It's just like, hey, I'm telling you what you need to do for your account management. Send me an email. Project management, I want to see what you have in there, right? What are your notes like? How well are you keeping that organized, and do you do it on time, right? That's all project management for us.
We've all been in a school or class group where you have a group assignment and there's 6 kids, and one of the kids or students is the one who's scheduling the planning time, reminding everyone when it's due, reserving the room in the library, making sure that it's formatted correctly before it gets submitted to the teacher. That is a real superpower. And then there's usually, there's a tangent, but there's usually 80% of that group that doesn't do a damn thing. So, don't be that group, right? So there's usually like a project manager, which, by the way, when we're hiring, that's what we're looking for. Like, if I picture that group assignment, I'm like, is this that one student that's taking the bull by the horns and just, getting this thing done? Now you can start to paint this picture of this candidate and think about yourself. You got little Bobby here. Let's say he's a graphic designer. Beautiful graphic design, wizardry. Okay, he passes that test. He's also very energetic. He's charismatic. He presents he's passionate. I think that's the key. If you're like, Josh, I'm an introvert. Well, me too. But it's just about, can you convey your passion in account management skills? But coming back to Lil Bobby, so he's an amazing graphic designer. He's charismatic and passionate. He can communicate well his designs and show his clients why they're awesome. But Lil Bobby is late to client calls. Lil Bobby forgot to schedule the next draft review. Lil Bobby doesn't use his calendar very well. Lil Bobby never sends emails after meetings. Lil Bobby is working on the wrong deliverables on the scope. Lil Bobby's doing a bunch of free work and he's not tracking his time. That's not going to work out. I will probably take a better project manager over someone who has, and they have subpar technical skills, and someone who's an amazing technical artist but it struggles with those other areas.
Yeah. Going back to the group project analogy, there's one person who's very organized, gets everybody on the same schedule. But when it comes time to present your group project, like, no, you got this, right? Yeah. And it's like, sometimes project management skills and like the account manager, the person who's going to communicate what's been done, are two different people. So it's hard to have those skills together. And sometimes you do have to prioritize one over the other, or work in a team where, somebody has the account management skills and somebody has the project management skills, and make sure those are balanced.
So let me just give some quick bullet points of what we mean by project management. Organized calendar, punctuality, taking notes, sending follow-up emails, sending preview emails, putting an agenda together, using your project management software the way that your company should be using it, reviewing the scope and timelines, honoring and guarding the scope and timelines, pushing back on clients when they want additional deliverables. These are, it's the non-sexy, non-fun things. But if you get that wrong, nothing else matters. So project management is huge.
Yeah. Okay, fourth and final, strategy. Now, a bit of a buzzword. We hear it all the time, especially in the creative space, digital marketing, advertising. Strategy. You hear that all the time. It's like, what is strategy and what are strategic skills, Josh?
I think right now, and this is why this is the fourth and final, because let's say Lil Bobby now masters all three of these. World-class graphic designer. He's charismatic and is good at pitching his creative ideas. He keeps things on time and scope. You might be like, what else is there? And to be honest, that is like, you will succeed with those three. But if you want to get to world class, you want to get to the top, picture Lil Bobby. He's great at those three. But now, as a graphic designer or a brand strategist, can Lil Bobby connect the dots between his brand work and how it helps a company grow? And you can see why your boss, your CEO, and your clients will really care about that. And to be totally frank, I have this conversation with a lot of our current team members, because a lot of our strategists, this is where they are currently. Great technical skills, very organized, keeping stuff on scope. They're good with their soft skills, but they're struggling to see why, okay, how does this brand guide now help Joe's plumbing company scale and get to the next level? Can you connect the dots? In other words, if you're a graphic designer, you need to start to think you're not a graphic designer anymore. You help companies grow. That's why is good graphic design good? Well, it improves the brand. Okay, well, why is a better brand good? Well, it's going to improve customer loyalty. Why is customer loyalty important? Well, it's going to increase sales and revenue. Okay, there we go, right? So if you can connect those dots, show that to the client, now you're thinking strategically.
Yeah.
So
it's like there are really well executed, for example, Super Bowl ads, right? Where the quality is really awesome and, the writing and the scripting and, everything is perfect and it was done on time apparently because it's being aired during the Super Bowl. But it was missing that component of like connecting this to how does this help the business grow? You watch an ad and you're like, that was cool, but like, I'm not going to go buy that product, right? Or I don't feel any more, connected to with this product or service or that brand. And so, yeah, you could, our strategists here, we could make a perfect website or a perfect logo or a perfect brand for a client or an ad campaign where everything is executed perfectly, it's communicated to the client perfectly. But if we don't connect those dots, to use that verbiage from you, between, hey, this is going to help you grow because of X, Y, and Z, then it doesn't matter. Yeah. It really does. It's like we're just making pretty pictures for the sake of making pretty pictures. And that's not what we're in the business of doing. And nor should you be in the business of doing that. You shouldn't just be doing good work for the sake of good work. You should be doing good work for what the results will be, right? That's what strategy is here for us.
I think last thing I'll say, because I've really struggled to like define, okay, if people are listening, like, okay, how do I now get better at strategy? I think the first step is to learn, going back to technical skills, learn the fundamentals of the areas or teams around your specialty. So for example, you work in an agency and you're a graphic designer. Learn the fundamentals of marketing, of advertising, of accounting, of sales, of leadership, of management. That's the foundation, because then you'll be able to do what Zach said, which is, now how does my work make these areas better for an organization? The ultimate goal, and I know this sounds like crazy, but can you tie what you do into how it benefits the balance sheet of a company, right? So I'm really good at this graphic design, and because of this, we'll follow these stepping stones and it's going to increase your top and bottom line. If you can do that, you can see why that is a world-class graphic designer as opposed to someone you found on Fiverr.
Yeah, it's a good tip. I'm thinking, if you're a wedding designer, imagine going to a wedding designer who knows nothing about how to organize the flowers, or how to get your invitations printed, or or where to go dress shopping. It's like, okay, awesome. I'm sure you can plan really well, but you're not really helping this wedding to be any better, right? It's like, how can you contribute? How can you envision what the end result is going to be?
That makes me think of one more thing. Yeah, not to go down a tangent, but this just comes with experience, but industry knowledge. That's a big differentiator. If I see Lil Bobby and Lil Becky, and they're both doing branding for a construction company, but Lil Becky has researched and understands that vertical, that is a superpower. And that's something that I see leadership here at Big Red Jelly really lean into, because as soon as you sympathize with the client, like, ooh, you're a construction company, I know one of your biggest challenges always is hiring and recruiting. So now I know what to do in your branding and your messaging and your web design, etc. It's a totally different strategy than just building a pretty brand and a pretty website. So yeah, industry experience, tying it back to the balance sheet, the P&L, that's what's going to get you out of the minutia. And coming back to bring it all together, that will make you irreplaceable. That's what, because there's AI coming out of our ears, there's tools, there's the design pickles, there's the Upworks, the Fivers. But if you can master those 4 areas, you're irreplaceable, and companies will pay you top dollar to say, I know there's all these resources, but you know how to bring them together and execute at a high level.
There you go. Those are the 4 areas of skills, I guess, or 4 areas of professional development that we look for here at Big Red Jelly, but we think are applicable for any industry, any vertical, but especially if you work in the creative space. So if you're a freelancer, a designer, a marketer, an advertiser, those are skills that we think are important. So take it for what it's worth. That's it from us, guys. We're out of time. Stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be having some featured guests, I think, coming up here soon.
Yeah.
We need to do that more. So that's all. Thank you, guys.